blocks from my house. In every vlog where you see Francine and me, or Candace, Francine, and me walking to Whole Foods, we walk down the street that this crane fell on. All those shots you see on the news of the crane smashing through cars, those are the cars we walk past to get to the grocery store. All right, let's lighten up the vlog a little bit.
Okay.
I haven't done meal time
Nothing
in a
to
while.
complain about.
It's
The
been a
fourth
minute
hour
time.
uploading this, you know,
I
one minute
don't have
filming.
nice things. I don't have nice things because I break everything. I can't have a fancy car because I destroy it. Instead, I drive the toughest vehicle I can find, a busted up Jeep. Even the camera equipment that I own is all broken. I don't wear fancy clothes. I don't have like any jewelry. My glasses look like this. The one exception to this is the fact that I wear like this ridiculous Rolex. Let me explain the Rolex. My in-laws, that is Candace's parents, got it for me as a wedding present. Very generous of them. And I literally remember opening the box like 2 days before the wedding day and thinking to myself, this is the nicest thing I've ever seen. I can never wear this. And Candace came to me and she's like, you're gonna offend my parents. And I was just like, look, I will just destroy it. This is my watch. A watch that's literally sold to people because it's unbreakable. A white plastic watch. Fast forward
That's
like
what I want.
3 months
That's what I
later,
need.
3.5 months later, 3 months and a year later, fast forward some amount of time to my birthday, and Candace gets for me a rubber, like G-Shock-esque band, so it doesn't bounce, it doesn't jingle, like I really can't break a rubber band, and all of a sudden what was once way too precious for me becomes a fairly practical wristwatch. And the guy who owns the watch band company got in touch with me because he saw it in the vlog, and he was like, I love that you're wearing it, and I was like, I need it in white. I want it to look like this. I want it to be all dirty and up looking and gross. Then today, this shows up in the mail. Custom made white
To my
strap
boy
from
Casey.
Everest.
From your boy Mike.
Ooh. I just want to say it'll be nothing shy of a miracle if I can install this without breaking my watch. Mike, this is awesome. Thank you. This is not a paid promotion or anything, but if you want a fancy rubber band for your fancy watch. Okay, back to mail time. I know what's in these next mail time boxes, so before I open them, a quick story. Right after I posted the snowboarding in New York City movie, some guy commented or tweeted at me and he said, way to totally screw up your snowboard, bag. That bothered me for so many reasons. The main reason was that, like, yes, it did screw up my snowboard, which I loved. It didn't wreck it. Snowboarding through the streets of Manhattan during the biggest blizzard in history is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And to not do that because I'm worried about something like scratching my snowboard just seems so, like, sure thing, like, how short-minded are you, kid, who commented on my YouTube video? Okay. Now I can open the next mail time package. Because I'm pretty sure I know what it is. Yeah. The company that made the snowboard that I was on in the video, the company's called LibTech. They make my favorite snowboard. They saw the video and they just sent me 3 brand new snowboards. Firstly, thank you, LibTech. And second, the moral of the story is opportunity and experience always trumps material possessions. And at the end of the day, if you do something that you're that passionate about, like something that is that, I mean, come on, snowboarding in New York City, that like the universe will make it right. In this case, the universe is the snowboard manufacturers, and they made it right by sending me 3 new ones. They sent me another box too. A surfboard! Thanks, LibTech! LibTech. Alright, this is a little abstract, but bear with me. Every time in my life where I've had to kind of ignore the consequences and go for it, for the most part, it's worked out. I'm thinking specifically like, first time I maxed out my credit card to buy a video camera. Really stupid thing to do. Never max out your credit card. But if I hadn't done it, I may not have ever gotten into filmmaking. When I quit my job as a dishwasher because I wanted to move to, if I hadn't quit that job, like what would have happened? But the other side of the coin is like, don't max out your credit card, that's really stupid because. Don't quit your job, that's really stupid because. Don't snowboard through the streets, that's really stupid because. There are always really good reasons not to do things. But like if you really believe that it's something you have to do, the universe has a way of making it okay. I'm not still talking about the snowboards, by the way, that's crazy. But they're a good example of what I'm trying to talk about. Also, LibTech, I love all the gear, but like, I don't really wear hats like this. My head's too big. New York City.
No one used
How much do you want to buy this one for?
you have pain, don't take that one.
Wait a second, what?
What?
I don't know what I was watching, man. That was too far ahead, man.
2 more hours? I think.
No, I saw this.
Is the theatrical premiere at the Museum of Modern Art. Bye-bye.
I need to watch these things because I like to learn, you know?
Man, what a difference a night of sleep makes. I feel like a new man today. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's right, man. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so today is Q&A day, but before I get into the questions and answers segment, I want to do a gratuitous Steadicam skateboard shot of Jack and I going through the streets of New York City. Here we go. Glad I got that out of my system. Now I'm covered in sweat. I also just destroyed my jeans. Okay, let's start the Q&A. All right, this will definitely be the sweatiest Q&A I've done yet. Let's get started. Raj, in a tense situation, would you run away or fight? And why? Okay, generally my feeling about violence is to avoid it at all costs. So always run away. Except in one of three situations. The first is if you have to defend yourself. Like if it's you or them, make sure it's always them. Number 2 is if you have to defend someone who can't defend themselves, like a kid or a girl or something, then you fight. And 3, and this one's a little bit more controversial, to defend the honor of a woman. Meaning, if someone is humiliating or saying things about a girl and she can't defend herself, I believe force is necessary to end that. But as a rule, avoid fights at all costs, avoid violence at all costs. The last time I got into a fight was probably like 7 or 8 years ago. And it's kind of a funny story. Candace and I were like having an argument on Broadway in the middle of New York City. And this somewhat imposing figure came over to us, interrupted our fight, and was like trying to sell us candy. It's like a scam that guys do in New York City. And we said no, and like he wouldn't back off. And eventually he walked away and like turned to Candace and he was like, and you bitch. And like you just can't talk to a woman like that. Then things got violent. Next question. Ooh, this is a good one. I like this a lot. Maddie asks, what's the least favorite movie you've ever made? It's actually, hold on, Maddie. Okay, I'm just covering up the name of the musician, but see how it says biggest mistake ever? That was a music video my brother Dan and I directed in 2004. It just wasn't right. We should have said no, but we were dead broke, and it was the first like real opportunity to do something for real, like it was a music video. So we did it. It came out terribly. No one was happy, and to this day, it certainly has been like biggest mistake ever. And from that mistake, I learned so much about when you say yes and when you say no to gigs that involve money. Okay, awesome question from Alex. If you had a time machine, would you go back in life and do something differently? Yes. If I had a time machine, I would go back and be born in the year 1899. That means I could fight in World War I, I could fight in World War II, and then I could grow up and have my adult years go through from like 1940 to 1980, like the height of like American engineering, when like it was really America was at its finest, and then die in the early 80s, just before the internet was born. Alberto, how have the daily vlogs impacted your channel? Tremendously. Growth is off the charts, like so many new viewers, so many new people coming to the channel, all really exciting stuff. And I still have like my canon of old movies. Like the first 100 movies I made were not vlogs. So the channel, the dynamic of it has really changed. But for me, it's like this library of all the work I've made since I stopped working with my brother in 2010. Okay. Considering your passion for hard work is retirement in the cards. There are 2 things that I hope I never have to deal with in life. One is being sick. That's my ultimate fear. And then 2 is not being able to work. So retirement is like the sum of all fears for me. I hope I never have to retire. I hope I die working. I'll end the Q&A on this question with like a little story. So my muse, like my idol, my hero in life is my grandmother. And my Nana, she died a couple years ago. When she was 13 years old, maybe she was younger. When she was 13 years old, she learned how to tap dance. And that was like her passion, her dream, like the thing that inspired her more than anything in the world was tap dancing. She didn't stop tap dancing for the next 80 years. She literally tapped every single day. She moved out of New York City to Connecticut. She started a tap school in the 1950s. She had a tap studio in her home that she like taught children how to tap dance in. She did a recital every year where she would do a tap show for hundreds of people. And she did that literally until the day before she died. On a Friday, she had tap class where she had 20 students in her class and she was on her feet, tap, tap, tapping away. And then the next day she went to the hospital and then she died. That, like if I could sign a contract and get that deal, that's what I want out of life. I want to pursue my passion and work until the very end. I never want to retire. I made a movie about my Nana that tells this story in more depth. I'll link it below, and then I'll put like a link thing here. You should watch that movie. She might be the most like inspirational human being I've ever met. It might make you cry. Okay. I'm going to go home now and change my pants. Actually, I have to walk home through the streets of New York City with my pants looking like this. I guess I'll just vlog it.
That's Casey Neistat right there.
One of the more popular questions when I do these Q&As is, don't you get embarrassed walking around the streets of New York talking into a camera? The answer is no. And today that question would be, don't you get embarrassed walking around the streets of New York City talking to your camera while your pants are ripped in half? And the answer is still no. Of all the freaks and weirdos in this town, I'm still not even in the top 10%. Alright, I changed. I feel better. So
Well, that was funny.
My red pants. I feel like I belong at a country club. But sometimes you just have
That
to
was
roll
funny. Of all of the freaks. That is insane. Oh my gosh. That's probably true.
Thanks for coming back, guys. Really good to see you both. Safe travels. Come visit anytime.
FOMO. That is fear of missing out. There's very little of that when you're in New York City. There's always something happening here. And that's a very exciting thing to be around. These guys behind me are smoking pot. These guys here. They gave me a dirty look when they saw me coming over with the camera. I very infrequently get Starbucks on my way to work, but today's just one of those days. Got my coffee. Well, Cassie got his coffee. Delicious. When Owen was a baby, his favorite show was Blue's Clues, and his favorite part of Blue's Clues was mail time. Mail time. When I was a kid, my favorite show was Pee-wee's Playhouse, and my favorite part of that show was mail time.
Mail's here, Pee-wee.
Gosh, look at all the mail.
Yeah, we got a ton of it.
Anyways, mail time. Thank you. Thank you. Special visitor today. Another YouTuber that I've never met before. Guy by the name of Mark Miller. He just pinged me, asked if he could come by. I said, sure. Yo! Welcome to the studio. This is like anytime I hang out with any vloggers, this is what ends up happening. It's now become kind of a rite of passage, but I'm encouraging Mark here to try the motorized unicycle.
Give me one tip.
Don't hold on to the seat, even though it feels like you should. Yeah, straight out, Philippe Petit style, like you're walking the tightrope. Good luck. Lean forward. Lean forward. Yes, like hands out. Eyes forward.
Oh my god.
Nice, sort of.
Adios.
I'll see you guys on the internet.
Bye.
I feel like I should give them the customary Bullhorn goodbye.
Have fun in your Uber.